What's up guys? Thanks for tuning in on today's video. I'm Gabe, and today I'm going to be test driving and reviewing the C5 Corvette. This is the 5th generation of America's most famous sports car, the Corvette. The C5 is the generation of Corvettes that I don't really give too much thought on. And maybe that's because it's sandwiched between the C4, which was the retro 80s and early 90s Corvette, with the C4 ZR1, and of course the C6 Corvette, which had models like the C6 Z06 and the C6 ZR1. The C5, unless it's the Z06, which is a very rare and very pricey car to consider, don't really get a lot of attention, and unfortunately I am one of those people that overlook these cars. But the C5 is more than just a bridge car between two different generations. It's the last generation of Corvette that had the pop-up headlights. It's also the first generation of Corvettes to introduce the LS series small block V8, starting with the LS1, which from factory made a pretty decent horsepower amount back in the 90s, which was about 345 and about 340 pound-feet of torque. Unfortunately, in today's numbers, that sub 400 numbers isn't all that impressive, but the saving grace for the C5, and really Corvettes in general, has always been their ultra lightweight and their design and their suspension and handling capability. Even though this car doesn't make as much power in today's standards, it's still a very good benchmark. And with a very skilled driver, you could definitely beat a lot of the contemporary cars that have way over 400 horsepower but have significantly more weight. So today I'm going to be reviewing this one because not only is this a very special car, and although it's often overlooked, this C5 in particular is very difficult to ignore because this is a fully LS3 swapped V8. There's a ton of other modifications that this car has. It's cammed, it's full bolt-ons, it's on E85, and it has a crap ton of other supporting mods. All right guys, before we get into the driving first impressions and initial reactions, I want to do a little walk around of this build and talk about the exterior design, which the C5, I believe, is really the first generation of Corvettes to really inspire, obviously, the C6 and just give you that nice curvy flow. The C4 was quite boxy and very rectangular, but the C5 rounded out the rear and the front and the roof as well, and it just gave it this very nice bullet aerodynamic look. I'm really having a hard time trying to find a bad angle with this exterior design. That's one of the cool things about the C5. Now, what's really special about this particular car's exterior look and design is that if you are a big fan of the C5, you'll know that this does sort of resemble the C5 Z06, which was introduced in 2001. And oddly enough, in 1999 and 2000, they did something called the fixed roof coupes. The roof kind of like slopes down very quickly, whereas the ones from 1997, 1998, they would have a more round area over here. So this, in fact, is the basis for what the C5 Z06 would later become. So it's a really interesting and very rare thing to find with Corvette C5s. Now, the rear section for me has always been the favorite part of the C6 and of course the C5 because they're very similar. In fact, if you were to take a very quick glance and you're not too familiar with the C5 and the C6 or Corvettes in general, you would think it's a C6 with the oval circular 4-piece taillight design and of course the centered exhaust. Now, the interior is quite a different story. You know, the C5 and the C6 have never really had a very beautiful interior, and that's fine because this is, again, from the 90s, and a lot of General Motor vehicles, and honestly vehicles at the time, they did not have all the minimalistic and luxurious look that, you know, the new C8 would have or something like that. And this build in particular is not stock at all. As I mentioned before with the performance characteristics, you also have an aftermarket Pioneer screen here. It also has an aftermarket steering as well. You also have the upgraded C6 shift knob over here. Manual C5 Corvettes are insanely hard to find. You can get it in either a 6-speed manual transmission, or you could have gotten it in, I believe, a 5 or 4-speed automatic transmission. This car also has bucket seats inside by Corbeau. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. They look very nice and stylish. They're also extraordinarily comfortable. Honestly, for a guy my size and my height, this is a pretty comfortable car. You also have a fire extinguisher back here and a little bit of Gap Daniels NOS in the back. We're going to be showcasing this in a separate video. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and start this car up and get it on the road. Let's get it. That is unreal. Oh my God, that is insane. So guys, this is Calvo. He is the owner of this beautiful cam C5. We're about to leave right now, sir, don't worry. Alrighty. First impressions of the cammed LS3 swapped C5. Clutch is unbelievably heavy.
There you go. Yeah, it's a buck.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put the clutch in it.
Yeah, let it ride, let it ride. So guys, this is Calvo. He is the founder and owner of Calvo Tuning. He has done several jobs here in South Florida for mostly General Motor vehicles.
Yeah, GM. Yeah, GM.
That's your niche. I actually filmed a race between a Calvo tuned Camaro SS, the 6th generation with the 8-speed auto versus the new C8. That was a really good race. That sound.
Yeah, she's a little loud.
Oh my God. You know, one of the things that I never can get over with the Corvettes is just how low they sit to the ground and how one with the road you feel. And I think that's just such a cool like feature of the C5 and really Corvettes in general.
Pretty much the biggest off-the-shelf cam for stock LS3, you know, for LS3. I saved it.
I saved it.
passenger out, and I wanted to have more of a just that raw NA experience. That's what I like most, and I really enjoy the power band out of a high cam NA car. So that's the setup.
That C606 that I reviewed was loud, but not nearly as loud. Like this shrieks. I mean, this is like, yeah, like a bald eagle, literally about to like strike its prey. To keep up with this, excluding, you know, forced induction cars like M's and, you know, M3s and new ones, bro, you're spanking a good amount of cars. Do you have any future plans for more power, or are you gonna keep it as is?
I think we're gonna keep it as is for a bit. I don't know. I like NA, but we're putting a little bit of juice on the back.
Obviously you have to have responsibilities, but you know, it's just easy, man. And the build like this is beating a lot of cars.
It's still relevant, yeah.
Good brakes too, brother. Like, I mean, I'm not sweating because it's hot. I'm sweating because like this is just so freaking exciting. Okay. I think it's time to conclude this video.
Yeah.
You were not wrong. You were not wrong at all. Like this is seriously making me consider camming the Camaro. Like I hope you know that my financial healthiness is now going to be ruined because of you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, guys, that was the first impressions of my boy Calvo's LS3 swap full bolt-on E85 C5 Corvette. My face says it all. I mean, this thing is an absolute and a monster. It's the first time that I drive a C5, let alone one with so much kick and so much power and just so much rawness. So, Calvo, thank you so much for doing this, man. I really appreciate it. Guys, again, he is into tuning, especially General Motors vehicles, Camaros, Corvettes, Cadillacs. I mean, the whole entire show. If you guys are in the South Florida area, definitely reach him up. He's got a lot of content for you guys to see also online, including on my videos as well. This is definitely somebody you want to work with when it comes to your General Motors tuning. Brother, you have an incredible build. This is honestly a gem. And again, the fact that it's manual, Z06 look, it's literally a Frankenstein C6 Z06. Would you guys do the same build? Do you guys like the C5? Let me know in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed watching me scream and just enjoy this car, go ahead and hit the like button. Helps out tremendously. And also put C5 more on the For You pages. Guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you enjoy my videos. And last but not least, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Guys, thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the next one.